Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a Gump report that is kind of not normal. I'm sorry, guys, I didn't do Rampage or my NWA review. I don't like skipping either one because usually there's something going on. And this time around, the reason I didn't do either Rampage or NWA was due to the fact of stress. Something happened and it badly stressed me out, so I have not been myself. So I do apologize that your normal, regular programming of wrestling wasn't able to be brought on. I'm really sorry, guys. Honestly, I'm not going to lie to you. I am not myself right now. I have been saying this for a bit. I think at least for 4 months or 5 months at least. But I'm really not myself. But I'm not going to quit doing what I do. As I've told people multiple times on this channel, it's not easy being what you are. If you got depression or anxiety, you don't give up. Even if you don't feel like yourself, you still try. That's what a lot of people tend to forget. And it's easy to do because I did it myself. But I'm all right now. At least enough to do a Gump report. So, this is interesting. If anybody remembers, how can I say this? For the amount of years people have watched my channel, you know I have done a video for Sasha Banks, and I've done a video for Naomi. Not Naomi, I'm calling her Naomi because that's what she calls herself, Naomi. I have made videos on both these women, one saying what has happened to her and what might happen, which I did say in the video, that sooner or later this would come to a head again, and look at what we got. And I also made another video about Naomi, and maybe it's time for her to go. And she needs to go. Girl needs to go. Even though I felt that she would never leave, I felt that she could go off, and the places she can go, look what just happened. Right there, you got both Naomi as well as Sasha Banks walking out on a live Raw show out of creative differences. Now, I did see what WWE said due to the fact of them not feeling comfortable with their opponents. They left. That's bull freaking shit. That was not the reason they left. You can check out Fightful, and several other sites are now talking about it right now. But pretty much my gist of it, and it's pretty easy, I don't watch Raw anymore. I don't watch SmackDown anymore. I listen to JD or just Alex a little bit. Very rarely do I check and see anything on an active Raw or SmackDown, unless it's something important, like what happened with Biggie breaking his neck, or when we're gonna finally get an Asuka. I did check out to see Asuka. I actually checked to see how Asuka looked. Those few times I would check the channel, the WWE, to know what's going on. On this subject, there was nothing to check because they didn't show up on screen. Yes, you did get Becky Lynch talking to Adam Pearce, saying you can't do this gauntlet because, no, six-pack challenge, not gauntlet, six-pack challenge, because they're not here. So they took a little bit of reality and inserted it in what happened in the show to try and do some damage control. But what does this actually mean, ladies and gentlemen? This is what it is. Naomi is still under contract. Sasha is still under contract. They do not want to deal with what's going on. And what is going on? There is no tag division. Once you saw Sasha and Bayley bust their asses to bring these titles back, because as far as I remember, the last time the titles existed was in the 80s, and they stopped it. Flat out, the 1980s was the last time you saw tag teaming for women with real titles, and they brought them back. They begged, they pleaded, they argued, they pitched, and they managed to bring them back. And what did Vince do? Nothing. Instead of trying to make something out of it and making the titles drift between NXT, SmackDown, and Raw, which could give a little bit more towards all of these different brands, he did not do that. He made it into a big-ass mess. To the point now that the titles are irrelevant. There's no point in having a women's tag team championship titles or matches or anything if you're not even doing proper matches. Hell, Impact Wrestling has only a tenth of the women that they have in WWE. Remember, they always got women that's in the Performance Center. They got some women on Raw, some women on SmackDown. They got at least 2 times to 3 times the size of the women that Impact Wrestling has. And I give Impact gripe. Yes. Because I say it every single time. Counting on what women you got left, why don't you use women that are from the indies, check them for COVID, make sure they're clean, then let them do a couple of matches, record them, and set them up in slots. At least you'll have something different, a change up for not just the tag champions, but also for tag teams that are there. They're going up against jobbers. You can have 4 women, 2 sets of tag teams going up against the champions in 2 weeks, and then those same tag teams can go up against the women that are already there that have to double in the tag division. That is how you do it for Impact Wrestling. But they won't do that. I don't know why. In WWE, they got women. They got them. They will not ever be short on women. They had tons of women and they let them go. They got still tons of women that in the Performance Center, some of them now are too inexperienced. Let's be honest here. Before the Purge, I've never really watched the Purge much, the Purge series, but they had a great amount of women that had the skill to go in the ring. They could have brought those women out periodically just for the tag teams. They didn't have to bring them out for regular women's championship title runs at all for Raw, SmackDown. Just the tag division for the women's in the Performance Center that were waiting on the old NXT that could have worked, or even now the new one. But look what they did to the old NXT. They destroyed it. Look what they did with the new NXT. You had Chelsea Blackheart. And you had, well, who did you have at one point? You had Chelsea Blackheart and you had Ember Moon. They were the champs. They lost their titles. They lost their chance. And then they were broken up. Then you're supposed to have women that's supposed to be doing something for it pisses me off to know that they have a Dusty Rhodes Classic and they had women in it. And instead of the women being the last ones there to go after the tag champions, they broke them up into a fatal 4-way to go after the main NXT title. This shows you how Vince does not care about tag team wrestling. And here's the key of it. At this point, Naomi and Sasha, they're done. They're making it very clear. Until you give us something to work with as tag champs, we're walking out. And as you saw from my thumbnail, Vince, wrestling sucks. After everything I did, I'm out. And Naomi, for her credit, for my baby, she made it very clear. I got you, sis. We out. They can kiss it. That's what they just did. You got from the reports from Fightful, and I believe Dave Meltzer, he made it very clear that when it came down to Sasha, she went straight to Vince and said, we need to do something else. They even pitched a possible scenario at Hell in a Cell. He got turned down. She faced him and pretty much said, give us something to work with other than me jobbing to Naomi. At one point, that was one of the pitches for the new 6-pack challenge. It was Nikki Ash eventually, but they actually wanted to have Sasha pin Naomi. At least that was from the reports that I heard. It could be wrong, but if that is true, why are you having one of your champions pin another? What? Because of what happened in the Owen Hart tournament, where you see Dash Hardwood and Cash Wheeler go up against each other, and one had to pin the other? Are you seriously trying to do that, the 6-pack challenge, and do the same thing that Hardwood and Wheeler did for Naomi and Sasha Banks, so Naomi could go up against Bianca Belair? Really? That's when they changed it to Nikki Ash. And they got sick of it, and they walked out. Now, what can we do? Well, as fans, what can we do? We can say to WWE, you're stupid. You pissed off 2 women who are one of your best women you got. And not even talking about the best women, the ones that you show the most. Remember, They got a lot of women on that roster. They show a lot of, some of them have talent, some of them don't. Some of them have been booked right, some of them have been booked into oblivion. But these two have been shown the most over the years. They have. So, as fans, we just, on Twitter, well, I don't use Twitter, but complain, even though they're not see it. Now, what does this mean for the fans that are at the arenas? They can boo anybody there and say Naomi and Sasha be treated better. They could do that. Hijack the show, which will make WWE happy. Let's be honest. Any reaction will make them happy. Twitter, that'll make them happy. Any reaction at the arenas and venues will make them happy. The only thing you can do, guess what? Do nothing. Don't cheer. Don't boo. Don't put anything on Twitter. Leave it blank. That's what I would suggest. Now, what can Naomi as well as Sasha do? Well, here's the thing. The problem they have here is this. They both have contracts. And they got, I believe, one or two choices. One, they can say, we're not going back on TV. Fuck you, we're staying home. Both of them can stay home and do exactly what happened to a Mustafa Ali. Not Mustafa Ali. That's what he calls himself now. But Mustafa sounded better. Sounded more important. But the point is, they could do an Ali. Pretty much stay home and do nothing and be bored. And they're not able to work anywhere as long as their contracts are still valid. Two, both of them can just say, we want out of our contract. And try to get them to pretty much break it. To break their contracts, they'll have to wait 3 months each. And after 3 months, they're out. That's the only other way they can do it. Now, what does this mean for Naomi and her husband, Jonathan Fatu? That's going to be a big, big mess for him. That his own wife, who he's now been married to for a couple of years now, is no longer with the company. She got sick of it and left. She's part of the bloodline, as they would quote it, even though she's not in a bloodline storyline. She's married to one of the Usos, which you would think that Vince would do something special with that in the women's area to make women be cared about. Nope. So essentially, he ain't going to be happy about it. He's not going to have his woman going with him no more. Pretty much, you're going to have this situation where Jimmy is going to be by himself. And you already know what's been the problem with Jimmy multiple times. He drinks. And if his woman's not with him, he could go back to drinking again and get himself in trouble again. The stupid motherfucker got drunk last time. Lucky he's still working. Or better yet, lucky he didn't end up like Sonny and killing somebody. Because he got freaking drunk behind the damn wheel and accidentally killed somebody. Unlike Sonny, I believe her name is Sonny, it's been so long to think about her, but killed somebody and she's unstable as it is. So these are the situations we got. Now, do I believe it's the wisest thing to do to break them up? No. I doubt that Vince is going to break their contracts. Not unless something happens that Vince pretty much says, you know what, fuck it. Sasha, go. If you want to AEW or Impact, whatever, go. Get out of my way, bitch. To Naomi, same thing. He could do it. But will he do it? If it's not in his best interest, he doesn't gain any more money, and he doesn't gain an advantage, he will just cut them loose. He'll cut them loose. Either they want to be cut loose or not. If he gets pissed off enough, he'll cut their asses loose. And then they have to wait 3 months before they can do whatever the hell they want. What I would rather see is them both cut loose. When it comes to Naomi, she'll find work. As I said, she can find work in AEW. She can find work in Impact Wrestling. I don't know if she'll go to Japan. I doubt that she would. But she could easily find work at those two promotions. MLW, I do not know. I know there's at least one subscriber who loves MLW. Honestly, with the problems they had with WWE, that is not a place I would recommend her go. And I would recommend you not consider her that. NWA, she could go there and gain something because it's a more old school style where maybe someone like Naomi, who's very unique, might actually get over. Yes, she won't have any music, but it doesn't mean she can't learn something, because Naomi's not bad on the mic. But in NWA, she could actually learn to really improve her mic skills. She can go to NWA to work on the mic skills. She can go to Impact Wrestling and work on her ring work. I mean, she's already good in the ring. She worked hard at it, but she can gain more. Gail Kim will be there. She can really get something. Rosemary, when she's on her game, she can do that. Deonna Purrazzo, she can work with. Taya Valkyrie, you can work with her. I would love to see Naomi work with Taya Valkyrie. Ooh, baby, I want to see that. Then Deonna Purrazzo working with Naomi. That don't seem bad. Havoc working with Naomi. That'll be good. Look, the Brick House of Camille working with Naomi. And I believe that Melina might still be in NWA. I haven't seen her for a while. She might not be there right now. But if she is, working in the back, hell, if I'm right, working in the back on NWA is Jazz. Now, Jazz, as far as I know, does, I think, helps Impact Wrestling periodically. She's not there right now. I think she's still working for NWA. How would it feel for Naomi to go to NWA and learn something from Jazz? Baby, she learned something good, which really could give her something to go forward. She's still very young. She's only in her 30s. The girl could learn a lot traveling around, going to different promotions, depending if she wants to. That if she lost a job or she quits. But this is just my point of view. And almost forgot. Sasha, as I've said, AEW is where everyone thinks she'll go. I would suggest either Japan, which she might go over to New Japan Pro Wrestling, or Impact Wrestling, because they have been working along with AEW. Impact has been working with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Maybe she wants to work that way. You never know what's going on with a Sasha Banks. She can work anywhere with the height and the amount of clout this girl has gotten working The Mandalorian. She could go anywhere. And hell, Naomi and Sasha could stay together as a freaking tag team. Unlike, and I'm not being disrespectful to the Inspiration, but as I said in my video about the Inspiration, if Jessica McKay was really not right, she was still not comfortable, not right, or maybe Cassie was not right, they should have never rushed back into wrestling. That's the reason why they've gone to indefinitely removing themselves from wrestling when they should have taken time off about a year or 6 months. Just be seen at WrestleCons or something and just signed. They could have done that instead of jumping back into wrestling for 6 months and then just disappear, which most fans of wrestling would be upset who really loved them. With Sasha and Naomi, you never know. They don't have that kind of problem. At least as far as I can tell, they just creatively are pissed off because Vince will not give them anything to work with. But this is just me. And now I hope you enjoyed this Gump report. Please give me a comment below. I will see if I can do my Dynamite review tomorrow. Maybe I might do another video on top of this. I don't know yet. As I said, I've not been myself. There was an incident on Friday that really upset me. And I'm alright. But trust me, I was not myself. I was pretty upset. But I am alright. Don't worry. I'm not in any danger or anything. But you know, things get you. And like I keep saying, it is hard when you have depression and anxiety. One of the hardest things is to try. And that is the worst thing that you have. I had to fight to try. For anyone else who sees this, who has it, I know saying it is really hard, but at least you know someone who's gone through it and had to try very hard to do stuff. And I'm here. I could have done nothing, but I chose to. Peace.